Apple has been doing a pretty good job of introducing major upgrades to their iPhone yearly. However, many people thought that this will stop since there's not much left that needs change. Others think that Apple will be holding out new features in this year's iPhone so that next year's iPhone will have more new features. Either way, it shouldn't be as big a release as last year's iPhone 6s. So first of all, the iPhone 6s, the main change in the design was the durability. It has new Series 7000 aluminum and a stronger display on the front. Sure, it also has the S here, but that's pretty much it. The iPhone 7 has taken away the antenna lines here and here, made the camera bigger and sloped, taken away the concave gap between the two volume buttons, and they've gotten rid of the 3.5mm headphone jack and replaced it with another one of these, but not an actual speaker, just the same look. The iPhone 7 has also gotten rid of the 3.5mm headphone jack and replaced it with another one of these. Not a new speaker, but just the same look. More symmetry. So the iPhone 7 looks slightly different and is actually slightly more durable, but the iPhone 6s is way more durable, so I'd have to tie them. The iPhone 6s uses the exact same display as was in the iPhone 6. The iPhone 7 uses a 25% brighter display with a P3 color gamut, which is a nice new advancement, still on LCD 750p technology and 1080p on the 7 Plus. The camera on the iPhone 6 went from 8 megapixels to 12 megapixels and 1080p to 4K and 120 frames per second slow motion, now has 1080p. The iPhone 6s also introduced a new feature called Live Photos, where your pictures move for 1.5 seconds. And there is a new technology called Deep Trench Isolation to compensate for those smaller pixels, and a new ISP. The iPhone 7 has optical image stabilization instead of just the 7 Plus, up to 3 times longer exposure. It has an f2.8 aperture, which allows in 50% more light. It has a 6-element lens. It has a high-speed sensor, which is 30% faster and 30% more efficient. And it has a quad LED flash that emits 50% more light and has a flicker sensor so that it detects flickering in the room and helps compensate for that with the flash. Megapixels on the front-facing camera have gone from 1.2 megapixels to 5 megapixels to 7 megapixels. Definitely a bigger increase in the 6S. There has been a retina flash in the 6S. The iPhone 7 also added wide color capture and face and body detection, a bigger upgrade in the 6S. There is also wide color capture, face and body detection. The iPhone 7 has a larger camera, which allows for 1.4 micron pixels, whereas the iPhone 7 Plus has a dual lens camera, but not the larger camera. So it is worse in low light, but it allows for a 2 times optical zoom and a bokeh. The telephoto lens has an f1.8 aperture, and the wide-angle lens has an f1.8 aperture. Although this has a smaller sensor, 3.6 inches compared to 3 inches. So it is worse in low light, unfortunately, but at least it has a dual camera. The iPhone 7 is actually a bigger change in the camera due to all of these new technologies. The iPhone 6 is 1.44 gigahertz, iPhone 6s is 1.84 gigahertz, and iPhone 7 is 2.3 gigahertz. The RAM on the iPhone 6 is 1 gigabyte of DDR3 RAM compared to 2 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM on the 6 and the 7. The iPhone 6 and 6s are dual core, whereas the iPhone 7 is quad core, but only 2 of these cores can be used at a time. We'll get back to that. They are all 64-bit. So the iPhone 6 to 6s has a 70% CPU increase and a 90% CPU increase, compared to only a 40% CPU increase and a 50% CPU increase in the 7. So, although the iPhone 7 does have that new quad-core processor, the A10 Fusion, and 2 of those cores are low power, which allows for less power consumption when you're doing something like checking your email that doesn't require all of that power. So it does improve in the power efficiency, but not as much in the speed. The iPhone 7 has different battery life numbers, wireless audio and wireless video, instead of audio and video. So the audio on the iPhone 7 is 40 hours compared to 50 hours on the 6S. Audio on the 7 Plus is 60 hours compared to 80 hours on the 6S. However, video has risen from 11 to 13 hours on the 7, stayed the same at 14 hours on the 7 Plus. Talk over 3G has stayed the same and actually decreased on the iPhone 7 Plus from 24 hours to 21 hours. Browsing over 3G has risen from 10 hours to 12 hours and from 12 hours to 13 hours on the Plus. Browsing over LTE has gone from 10 hours to 12 hours, 12 hours to 13 hours on the Plus. Browsing over Wi-Fi has gone from 11 to 14 hours and 12 to 15 hours on the Plus, and standby has stayed the same on all models. The LTE speeds on the iPhone 6 doubled from 150 megabits per second to 300 megabits per second. The iPhone 7 also had a 150 megabit per second speed increase to 450 megabits per second, but since this is now only a 50% increase, the iPhone 6s deserves more credit for its LTE upgrade. So the iPhone 6s introduced a new feature called 3D Touch. It can detect how hard you press the display, a new way to interact with your phone. The iPhone 7 has a new home button with Force Touch, and it is no longer clickable. It is now just Force Touch. The iPhone 7 also removed the headphone jack to make it more symmetrical, but this helped with the next feature. It is now waterproof. It is IP67 rated, but has been tested to beat phones that are IP68 rated. The iPhone 7 also has dual speakers, one here and one in the earpiece, and they are 2 times louder than the ones in the 6S. The iPhone 6S also introduced a better second generation Touch ID. So the iPhone 7 is a pretty big upgrade, beats the iPhone 6S, and it will continue to be tested as the biggest upgrade in the history of iPhone.